If you guys want to win a copy of the Ultimate Edition of FIFA 19 worth around $100, all you need to do is leave a like on the video, leave a comment down below and subscribe to my channel. Do those three things, that'll enter you into the giveaway and I'll be sending a copy to one of you guys when the game's released. Hey guys, Ethan here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys the Ultimate August Player of the Month investment guide for FIFA 19. I'm going to show you guys my predictions for who is most likely to win the award, and also obviously all the players that you guys need to invest in to make loads of coins as soon as FIFA 19 is released. You can get these investments on the web app and then sell them when the SBC is released, when the game first comes out on console about a week later. So if you guys do enjoy, leave a like, let's try and smash 100 on this video. Also, if you guys are on your own here, don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, let's go on into it. So for me, there are 5 main candidates for August Player of the Month, and I'd recommend you guys focusing your investments around those 5 players in order to maximise your profits. There are, however, a couple of players that you guys may expect to be here that aren't. I'll let you guys know who they are and why I haven't included them. First up is Agero. He has scored 3 goals, and that does make him the joint top scorer of the month. However, all of those came in the same game, so I doubt he'll be nominated. We've also got Richarlison. Likewise, he scored 3 goals, but given about 6 or 7 different players have all scored 3 goals this month and he was sent off in his final game, I think they'll play against him and I doubt he's going to win the award. We've also got 2 defenders and a goalkeeper, and it's always forwards and midfielders that win Player of the Month. I think you have to go back a couple of years to when a defender actually lasts 1 Player of the Month, so it's very unlikely any of them will win. I have included 1 within my shortlist, but so many players had good months I couldn't include all of them. 3 defenders, all on 3 direct goal involvements. We had Mendy with 3 assists, Alonso with 2 goals and an assist, and Holebas with a goal and 2 assists. And I'll explain why I picked Holebas when I actually get to him in just a moment. And we've also got Etheridge, the Cardiff City goalkeeper. He saved 2 penalties and kept a clean sheet, but keepers never win Player of the Month, so I haven't bothered including him here. I wouldn't really recommend investing for him. Now moving on to the main candidates, we start off with Sadio Mane, one of the joint top scorers of the month with 3 goals in 3 games, and he was actually named man of the match in 2 of them, which is something no one else has managed to match. He also won all 3 games with Liverpool, and only 4 sides have a 100% win rate at this stage of the season so far. I think the only thing going against him is the fact he hasn't really played any big sides yet. All his goals came against more mid-table kind of teams, and if you compare that to some of the other players in the shortlist, that is something that could potentially go in their favour instead. But regardless, I think he's definitely one of the favourites and someone I would recommend focusing your investments on. And talking about investments, I'll be covering those in just a couple of minutes. Next up is Lucas. He's also scored 3 goals. However, he scored 2 of them against Man United away at Old Trafford, and that is one of the toughest games of the season for any player. It's a really hard place to go, and they got a 3-0 win. He was man of the match, had an amazing performance, and I think that may swing it in his favour. I think Lucas is probably the favourite, and for Ultimate Team I think he's probably the best player, as he would be a striker. He would be so quick and would just be an amazing player. So I think with the fan vote, which accounts for 10% of the overall voting process for Player of the Month, he will probably win that. And then with the journalists vote and the managers vote as well, I'm not sure. I think it's probably going to be between him and Mane. It seems to be a bit of a popularity contest, so players from bigger clubs generally seem to win. Also forwards generally seem to win. You very rarely see any defensive-minded players or players from smaller clubs winning Player of the Month. So that is something to bear in mind. Also, Spurs do have a 100% win rate so far, along with Liverpool, Chelsea and also Watford. And talking of Watford, we've got 2 of their players coming up right now. And it's amazing they have still managed to win all 3 games, despite being a side that so many people expected could maybe get relegated or at least be very near to the bottom of the table. I think I put them maybe like 15th or 16th in my Premier League predictions, but they have exceeded all expectations, really punching above their weight. They've won all 3 games so far, 9 points after 3 games. And Pereira has been a very key player behind that. He scored 3 goals. He's the joint top scorer of the month, and he is a midfielder, a centre mid, so he sits quite far back. But he's been very good, and I think he's probably the most deserved player to win Player of the Month, but because of the fact he plays for a smaller side, I doubt he is going to. I think it's mainly between Mane and Lucas. We've also got his teammate Holebas. He scored 1 goal and got 2 assists, which is very good for a defender. As I said already, Mendy and Alonso also got 3 direct goal involvements. However, I couldn't include 3 defenders, as I mean, defenders very rarely win anyway, and I wanted to keep it quite small with this shortlist and not have loads and loads of players to make it complicated. But I think Holebas probably stands out above them because he's got that 100% win rate. I know Alonso does as well, but you'd expect Chelsea to be doing that well compared to Watford, who are really punching above their weight. And then Mendy, I believe is 2 points behind, as he actually drew a game with Man City. So I've included Holebas here. I think he's definitely a worthy candidate, but probably won't win given the fact he's a defender. And then finally we've got Callum Wilson. He actually has the most direct goal involvements of any player so far this season, with 2 goals and 2 assists, which is very, very good, especially playing for Bournemouth, another side people expected could potentially be relegated or at least be towards the bottom of the table, but they're up there. They've won 2 games and got 1 draw so far, leaving them on 7 points. He's definitely up there. I mean, the stats do go in his favour, but because of the fact he plays for a slightly smaller side, you generally don't see players, as said, from smaller teams winning Player of the Month. So for me, it's between Mane and Lucas. Pereira could get in there as well. There are a couple of other players you never know. Maybe someone like Agero or a Charlison could be included. I think Mitrovic has also had a decent month. I think he's maybe scored 3 goals or 2 goals and got a couple of assists too. But for me, it's between Mane and Lucas. I'll be covering lots of different investments though, so let's get on into it. So first of all, I'd recommend some general investments that will cover you no matter who wins Player of the Month, and they are high rated Premier League players. Anywhere from 80 to 84, 85 should be good. And on the web app in the early stages of the game, you'll be able to get some really cheap players, especially goalkeepers or players with poorer stats, especially pace. You should be able to find 83s and 84s for just a couple of thousand coins, and they could easily double in price and make you some really good profit. You can also sell cards in the hype. It really is up to you when you sell any investments you make. You can risk it and wait until the SBC is released, in which case they may rocket up, but if they're not required they may drop down, or you can just sell shortly before the SBC is released, which should be on a Friday when the game is properly released on console. Now, as well as that, you can also get some inform cards. If you get anyone around discard price, the higher rated the better, maybe 80, 82, 83, 84, anyone like that is cheap, anywhere from about 10 to 12 or 13k. Pick them up as they may be required, but apart from that, you want to focus on each individual player, and you can get some cheap cards. I mean, you're going to be looking at getting cards near discard price, so as to really reduce the risk factor and be able to maximize your profits. So first up is Mane. As I said, he's one of the favorites, and you want to focus for all these players on their former clubs, their nation, the club they currently play for, and also clubs they've scored against within the month. That's generally what EA do. They mix together a combination of those. So we normally have 4 separate SBCs. Some of them may require, for example, a player from each of the players' former clubs, and then like an 83 or 84 rating. You may just have a random one that requires a certain number of informs and a certain rating. They mix and match, but generally you can expect to see some of those different requirements. So Mane, he has played for Metz, Southampton, and also Red Bull Salzburg, and all of those clubs have a couple of goal players, and you'll be able to get them really cheaply on bid. Like if you look at Metz, they probably have, well, we don't know the ratings yet, but they will probably have a couple of gold players that will be non-rares, and you can get them for about 300 or 400 coins on open bid, and they could rise up to a couple of thousand coins when the SBC is released. Also Senegal and Liverpool, you can cover those options there. They don't have to be really high rated expensive players, but if you get anyone that's rated maybe 80 rated or higher, that's quite cheap from either Senegal or Liverpool, just get a couple of them and keep them in your club or on your transfer list, and you should be good. And as I said, you can sell in the hype, or you can sell when the SBC is released. It's up to you. You'll probably make more profit, but there's more risk if you sell when the SBC is released. You could potentially lose a lot of coins, but if you sell in the hype, there's no risk at all. You're guaranteed to make profit, although that profit may be a little bit lower. Also, he has scored against West Ham and Crystal Palace, so you can get some relatively high rated players. I mean, like 80, 81, 82s from those clubs that are quite cheap. Maybe someone like Benteke, he'll probably be about 80 rated and about 1,000 coins, so could be a good one to get. We've also got Lucas. He has played for, I believe, Sao Paulo. However, they're not on Ultimate Team, but after that he moved to Paris Saint-Germain, so you can get a couple of maybe people like Kimpembe, Meunier, Kazawa, those players that are going to be around 80 rated and that are quite cheap should be good. Also, you can get some Brazilian players and Tottenham players. Any cheap options there should be good. And then also pick up some Man United and Fulham players, as they're the 2 sides he scored against within the month. We've also got Pereira. He's played for River Plate, Udinese, and also Juventus. I think if any of the players that have played for 3 clubs, so Mane, Pereira or Holebas, win, you will almost certainly need players from some of those previous clubs. So they're definitely ones to focus on. Get a couple of goal players from those clubs for cheap and you should be good. Also, you want to get Argentine players and Watford players. Given that we've got 2 Watford players that could potentially win, you can get some really good investments from that club, as you're covering 2 options with that 1 investment. So definitely try and pick up a couple of cheaper Watford players, gold cards, anyone really that's about 80 rated to 82 or 83. I'm not really too sure what ratings some of those Watford cards will have, but if you can get some of the higher rated ones for cheap, you should be onto a winner. And he scored against Crystal Palace and Brighton, so they're two clubs you can get a few more players from. Also, we've got Holebas, and he has played for, I believe, 1860 München was his first club. He also played for Olympiacos and then Roma too before moving to Watford. He's Greek, so you can also get some investments from there, and he scored against Crystal Palace, so that's one that is going to again cover two options, as Pereira also scored against Crystal Palace. And then finally we've got Wilson. Now he plays for Bournemouth right now and has for a very long time, but he started his career off at Coventry City. I'm not 100% sure if they're actually on Ultimate Team or not, or if they're in a lower division, so if you guys know about that, let me know. I think they're probably not really going to require one Coventry City player or something, just because there's only one club there, so you're probably not really going to require any guys from there, but you might as well. They will probably rise up in the hype anyway. Also English players, anyone again around that kind of 80 rating or higher. People like Wilshire will be good. I mean, they'll be around that rating. Anyone that's quite low and quite cheap should be good. And then he scored against West Ham and against Cardiff too. So West Ham is one that covers two options too, as Mane also scored against them. So those are all of those investments. If you guys have any questions, let me know down below. It can be a little bit confusing, especially given the fact we don't have FIFA 19 yet. There's no transfer market or anything, so I can't actually show you guys directly the investments I'd recommend picking up. And the ratings haven't been confirmed either, so there aren't like actual players that I can really recommend to you, but I can recommend the types of players that you guys can hopefully pick up when the game is released. And I can do maybe a more detailed video when the game is fully released on the web app, but I thought I'd do this video quite early so you guys know. Maybe if you get like, I don't know, a Roma player in your starter pack, you'll know maybe to keep them, as they could rise up because Holebas used to play there, and Player of the Month hype could make their prices rise. But if you guys have any questions, as said, let me know down below. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. It always goes a long way and it's much appreciated. And if you guys are on your own as well, don't forget to subscribe. I think we're about 400 subs now off 50,000 subscribers, which I've been working towards now for like 4.5 years. So if you guys could subscribe, that would be also much appreciated, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.